Hey guys, so today I'm going to be showing you how to paint this sun with clouds around it, so I hope that you enjoy.
So the first step is to paint your canvas yellow. I've already started, and I'm going to be using this by Apple Barrel. It's just called Lemon, and you can use any size brush that you prefer, but I prefer to use a larger one just so I can cover more area quickly. Under the sun. So I just painted my whole canvas and I did the edges too. It's okay, this part dried already. So now I'm just gonna go over it and do a few layers so that way it's not entirely see-through because you can still see a bit through it, and just so I can make it more opaque. So while this is drying, you can take out your black paint or you can go with a gray or white, but I prefer to go with black. So I'm going to be using black by Craftsmart. And I'm just going to use a tiny little bitty bit because you just have to do a circle and a few lines for the sun. I'm going to be using this size paintbrush. You can use a thicker one or an even thinner one if you have it, but I feel like this is the best size for my liking.
Here I was just tracing out where I wanted the sun to go. You can repeat this process of going over the sun until you have the thickness that you like. If you mess up, you can always feel free to just fix it up with the yellow or whatever color you used as a base.
Okay, so I try to fix the sun as much as I can, but the black and yellow isn't fully dry, so I'll get back to that later. But now we are at the part where we're going to draw the 3 lines coming from the sun. So I've waited a few minutes and I touched it up a bit too. So once it has fully dried, I'm going to teach you guys how to add the eyes. So my sun is actually not fully a sun, and it's not even a half sun. It's more of like, if I just did a little bit more here. So I'm going to do one eye about right here, then another one kind of going off, just so it's kind of centered, but you still get the idea that it isn't. You can also map this out with the pencil if you would rather do that. I'm just going to do the little arches for the eyes rather than trying to draw eyes because I'm not that skilled. So just like that, and now I'm just going to go over it and trace it so that way it's more bold. So this is my sun. I just added the eyes and went over it a little bit, and I'm debating whether I should add a smile or not. I don't know if you can tell, but I tried to add a little smile like right below this left eye, like towards the bottom. It's really bad, so I went over it with yellow. Okay, so now that I'm done with the sun, we're going to move on to the clouds. So I'm going to use pink in another color, but for right now I'm just going to start with pink. This is Pink Polished by Apple Barrel. So for the clouds, I wouldn't recommend using a very thick brush. I would probably use like a medium-sized brush like this, or even like a really tiny one like this, just to do the outline of it and then fill it in later. So just make sure that your sun is fully dry, especially the black part, because that is what's going to smear the most if you use like a light color like pink or purple. So I'm going to have my clouds go off the edge in the corner a little bit and just bit like this. So you can use a pencil or just use your paint if you just want to freehand it.
So this is a technique that I like to use when I'm painting a lighter color over a darker color. So I just make little X's and then I go over it, just straight lines. So I'm gonna let the paint cloud dry because I keep adding more paint and I feel like it's not really going anywhere. So change of plans, I'm going to be putting the blue cloud over here in this corner rather than a purple cloud. So I'm going to be using Ocean Reef Blue by Delta Creative. So once again, you can either freehand this or draw it out with a pencil. I'm going to be freehanding it using a smaller tiny brush just to get more precision and accuracy with where I want to outline my cloud. Don't forget that you can either match it with the length of this cloud or make it smaller or bigger, just depending on if you want symmetry or not. I personally am going to make it go a little bit past the paint cloud just because I like that look better, but you can go with any way that you want to. So I just use a small brush to outline it, but you can go with a thicker brush to fill it in if you would like to. So if you have any excess paint like I do, I have some excess paint just because I try to fill the whole cloud first and then go over with different layers. You can just scrape it off using your paintbrush, just like this. Then on your plate, just kind of brush it off. Okay, so I just took a shower to try and see if the paint would dry. And it did, so now I'm going to go back over another layer of the blue and another layer of the pink. Okay, so now that I did another coat of the pink and the blue, I'm going to add a purple cloud, and I'm going to add it right here because the eyes are up here, so I feel like it kind of balances out if I have another cloud down here rather than up there. Plus there's just more room down here, so I feel like it'll look better anyway. Okay, so hopefully you guys get it by now. You can either use a small brush, a thick brush, or a pencil to just trace out where you want your cloud, and then I prefer to just freehand it and then just fill it in using the same size brush. Under the sun. Also, this isn't something that's like a necessity, but since if you guys did paint the yellow on the side, since you did that, you also want to make sure that you bring the purple over too, just like we did with the pink and the blue. It just makes it more cohesive, and I personally think it looks way better. So the purple actually took really well. The pink, not so much, but to be honest, I thought that the purple would have been worse than the pink. But it actually covered the yellow pretty well. So now I think I'm just going to add a smiley face to the sun, and then it'll be all done. So I want the smile to be a bit derpy, so I think I'm going to have it be like here. That's cute. Yeah, I like that. So this is my finished painting. I'm really happy with how it looks. I feel like it looks way better than I thought it was going to be. Thank you so much for staying to the end. I hope that you enjoy your sun, and if it didn't turn out as good as you wish, then you can always try again later. Thank you so much. Bye bye.